I'm Dr. David Baker Hargrove.
And I'm Robert Baker Hargrove, and we're at the top of your inbox.
This is the place where we come together to bring to you all of our years of lessons learned from owning and operating businesses, both independently and working together.
And our goal is to provide you with a little bit of a business bite for you to take back to your company to help your business grow and your leaders develop. So, Dr. Dave, what's at the top of your inbox today?
So today, I thought that we would talk about everyone gets a why.
Everyone gets a why. So to me, in a very simple context, that means when you're doing something, explain the reasoning behind what it is that you're doing. Is that about right?
Sure. This is really about fostering buy-in throughout all of the levels and the areas of your company. Because in order to make your organization really successful and maximize opportunities and successes, you really want to foster buy-in from all of your employees. And the best way to do that is to help them understand what it is that you do, but why you do it as well.
And by explaining the why behind what you're doing, it really does inspire buy-in. It encourages engagement from an employee standpoint, and it really does also inspire trust. So by being able to engage your employees by telling them the why, what you're really doing is giving them the motivation to be invested in whatever it is that they're doing, like David was just sharing, whether it is productivity, whether it's sales, services. They really have an understanding of why they're doing and what they are doing and what the impact is on the company.
In a previous video, we talked about old style management and how some of the problems that were inherent in that style.
Yes.
And along with that, there's the old saying that goes that knowledge is power. And so in the old style management theory, we kept information close to the vest. The higher up you were in the organization, the more information that you kept. Moving forward, it's really much more important to be more of an open book. But there's a caveat to that too. And you have to be able to leverage how the information that you give and how it is utilized in the best way for the employees that you're providing it to.
It increases engagement, it provides trust, and it increases also communication. Because when you have a group of people who you're leading and they are engaged in understanding the reasoning behind what you're doing, now they have a basis for the motivation of really to increase their productivity or their service level or whatever it is that the task at hand that they're doing, and it really brings them together.
Yeah, when you think about it, how many jobs have, most of us worked at that we don't really understand why it is that we do what we do in terms of how it contributes to the greater good or mission of direction of the organization. I do this because this is the job I signed up for.
Yeah. Well, and one of the great things about trying to keep your employees engaged and about giving them a why is there's some simple things that you can do. So for example, I will tell you, we did an employee survey. And so every year we would get information back and we got suggestions from staff as far as what they would like. One of them was the difference between having vacation and sick time. The suggestion was, hey, can we just have a bank of PTO? Well, that's easily done from an HR standpoint, but what's not easily done is, okay, say we do switch from vacation to sick to a PTO bank. Then what are the rules of engagement for using that PTO? And that's where we get the employees engaged, for them to kind of come together and say, hey, well, if we're going to change this and we have now a bank of PTO, how do we utilize that time? And what are the rules for using that time? By being able to engage them through that process, then you create buy-in, and now they understand the why. Why did we go from vacation and sick time to bank of PTO? But also, how do we use it and why do we use it the way we do? Full engagement. And by doing so, it really does give them a sense of empowerment as well.
Yeah, for instance, one time, one of my roles was I worked for a very, very large accounting department in a very, very large corporation. And there was one single account that I worked on that was extremely complicated. And I had no idea how that particular account how it interacted or had any kind of interplay to the larger part of the organization for about a year and a half.
So how did you figure that out then?
I didn't. I had struggled with trying to balance that account for like the longest amount of time because I didn't really know what it did or how it had contributed, and no one was able to seem to tell me. And I had to do all of this investigation on my own to kind of figure out how it fit into the larger puzzle of the organization. And when I finally did, it all clicked and came together for me. And it was so important to be able to understand the why.
Yeah.
Because in this process, when you are providing the why, you want to make sure oftentimes that the information that you are giving is what it is that you are wanting to be received.
The intent, yes.
Right, because
The
sometimes
message is
that doesn't always
Absolutely,
work, right?
yes.
And it can be ended up being disastrous on the other side, and you don't actually know that that's happening. We used outside consultants to ensure that this process was actually working the way that we wanted, and the communication was actually going the way that we were intending, and that the message that we were intending was being received the way that we were hoping for.
Absolutely. And by bringing in an outside consultant, it wasn't just coming from us. What it was is someone coming from the outside being able to bring in a fresh set of eyes. So if you would like some of those fresh set of eyes, you can reach out to me at robertbakerhargrove.com.
Or me, davidbaker-hargrove.com.
Or you can reach out to both of us at bhcassessment.com.
So until next time,
We'll see you at the top of your inbox.